Cape Henlopen is the southern cape of the Delaware Bay along the Atlantic coast of the United States. It lies in the state of Delaware, near the town of Lewis. Off the coast on the bayside are two lighthouses, called the Harbor of Refuge Light and the Delaware Breakwater East End Light. Early history. Cape Henlopen, originally spelled Cape Henlopen, was New Netherland's most southern border on the 37th parallel north. In 1620, Simon Jacobs's Henlopen became the business partner of Cornelis Jacobsen May and the now washed-out Cape Cornelius and the incorrectly spelled Cape May with the ships Blijdeboodschap and Bever, both of which focused on exploration and trade with the Indians on the Delaware River. The area between the 38th and 40th parallels as well as the Delaware River from north to south had previously been surveyed and charted by Cornelis Hendricks from Monnikendam on the ship Onrus in 1614, 1615 and 1616. From August until November 1616, the New Netherland Company, which had an exclusive trading patent for the New Netherland territory between 40 degrees and 45 degrees latitude, had tried unsuccessfully to obtain an exclusive patent from the States General of the Dutch Republic for the territory between 38 degrees and 40 degrees latitude. Cornelis Jacobs's May was also unable to trade in the South River at the exclusion of competing Dutch companies. Those Dutch companies came in conflict with one another but were eventually able to reach agreement in New Netherland. Discord arose again, which was settled, finally, by a judgment of arbitrators at Amsterdam on December 23, 1623. The 38th and 39th parallels region came under the final jurisdiction of the Dutch West India Company on behalf of the States General with the delivery of the first settlers to Governor's Island in New Netherland in 1624. Those settlers were subsequently spread out onto Verhulsten Island in the Delaware, at Fort Orange in the Hudson River and at the mouth of the Connecticut River in order to finalize the claim to New Netherland as a North American province according to the Hugo Grotius Law of Nations. In 1782, during the American Revolutionary War, the young Continental Navy Lieutenant Joshua Barney fought with a British squadron at Cape May and Delaware Bay. Barney's force of 3 sloops defeated a Royal Navy frigate, a sloop of war and a Loyalist privateer. The battle ended with the loss of 2 British vessels and 1 American sloop. State Park. Cape Henlopen State Park is a 5,193-acre Delaware state park on Cape Henlopen in Sussex County, Delaware, in the United States. William Penn made the beaches of Cape Henlopen one of the first public lands established in what has become the United States in 1682 with the declaration that Cape Henlopen would be for the usage of the citizens of Lewis and Sussex County. Cape Henlopen State Park has a 24-hour and year-round fishing pier as well as campgrounds. The fishing pier is currently closed due to structural deficiencies. The remainder of the park is only open from sunrise to sunset, and includes a bathhouse on the Atlantic Ocean, an area for surf fishing, a disc golf course, and bicycle lanes, walking paths, and a World War II-era watchtower which is open to the public. The beach at Herring Point is also a popular surfing spot. Camp Henlopen serves as the eastern terminus for the American Discovery Trail, the only coast-to-coast hiking trail in the United States. Cape Henlopen School District. Cape Henlopen School District. Interesting facts. Cape Henlopen is on the same latitude as Cape Rocker, the westernmost point of Eurasia. Distance from Cape Rocker to Cape Henlopen is 5,568 kilometers in a straight line. Timeline of Cape Henlopen. 1682 William Penn designates the area as public land. 1767–9 Construction of the Cape Henlopen Lighthouse completed at the Great Dune, the sixth lighthouse on American soil. This construction was funded by the merchants of Philadelphia. 1777 The Cape Henlopen Lighthouse was gutted by fire. 1784 The Cape Henlopen Lighthouse was repaired and returned to active duty. 1789 Pennsylvania cedes the lighthouse, associated land, and jurisdiction to the United States. 1824 The Cape Henlopen Beacon was constructed on a 45-foot tower about a mile north of the Cape Henlopen Lighthouse. 1855 Construction of the Delaware Breakwater East End Lighthouse completed. 1869 Construction of the Delaware Breakwater West End Lighthouse and Stone Breakwater Barrier completed. 1885 The steel Strickland Lighthouse replaces the lighthouse on the inner breakwater. 1901 Construction of the 8,000-foot-long outer stone breakwater barrier completed. 1903 The Strickland Lighthouse is retired from service. c. 1915–1920 Radio compass station built. 1918 6-inch gun platform built. 1920 Cape Henlopen Lighthouse badly damaged by a storm. 1924 Cape Henlopen Lighthouse abandoned, lens removed. 1926 Cape Henlopen Lighthouse collapsed due to movement of Great Dune. 1941 U.S. Army established Fort Miles at Cape Henlopen. 1950 The Delaware Breakwater Lighthouse demolished and the East End Lighthouse was automated. 1964 The U.S. Department of Defense declared 543 acres as surplus property and the state of Delaware established Cape Henlopen State Park. 1966 The Buncombe County was renamed MV Cape Henlopen and converted to a passenger and auto ferry. 1978 The Fenwick Lighthouse is decommissioned. Gordon's Pond Wildlife Area established. 1982 The state of Delaware assumed ownership of the Fenwick Lighthouse and it was electrified and returned to operation. 1997 The state of Delaware purchased the East End Lighthouse and placed it on the National Register of Historic Places. 2007 The two 300-feet groins of Herring Point, originally built in 1950, are cleaned up and rebuilt. National Harbor of Refuge, outer breakwater off Cape Henlopen. All metal, built in 1926 and automated in 1973. Maintained by U.S. Coast Guard. Visible from Cape May Lewis Ferry.